Usually, when we think about science, there is this expectation of like absolute precision. You picture a scientist staring really intensely at a green flask, measuring out liquids down to the exact milligram.
Oh, right. Where one wrong drop and the whole experiment just completely goes sideways.
Exactly. But when you step into the garden, specifically into the world of making homemade compost, we really have to ask if you actually need a math degree to get it right. So, welcome to our deep dive.
It is a great question.
Right. Today we are looking at some notes from two nature and innovation students, Kesser and Steen. We are trying to find out if creating the perfect compost really requires lab-level math.
And Kesser and Steen are like such a great example of this exact kind of stress. They're trying to build up the soil and the raised beds of their sandy kitchen garden.
Yeah, and they are using their homemade seaweed compost for those beds, I believe.
Yes, the
Yeah.
seaweed compost. And they are completely obsessing over hitting this exact 30-to-1 carbon to nitrogen ratio for it.
Okay, well, let us unpack this. I mean, are we treating compost way too much like baking a delicate cake where every single gram matters instead of just, throwing ingredients into a hearty stew?
We definitely are. And their teacher, Professor Hendricks, actually tells them to stop losing sleep over the exact numbers. Because, well, what is fascinating here is that the 30-to-1 ratio is really just a practical guideline.
Oh, so it is not a strict rule.
Right, not a strict laboratory rule at all.
So they can basically put the calculators away. Because the solution the professor offers is essentially just a yard work hack using beech hedge clippings.
It is so brilliant. If you just take those fresh beech clippings and literally run them over with a standard lawnmower, you instantly get this near-perfect mix.
Because the fresh, juicy green leaves are packed with nitrogen, right?
Exactly. The leaves give you the nitrogen, while the woody twigs provide the carbon. So nature has literally already done the balancing act for you.
Bringing the ratio naturally to around 25-to-1, which is super close to that target.
Very close.
I just love the visual of this process, too. Just a mower bagging up that blend of shredded leaves and twigs.
And by chopping it all up with the mower blades, you are massively increasing the surface area of those clippings.
Which gives the microorganisms in the compost pile really easy access to start breaking it all down. You don't weigh it, you just shred it.
Exactly. Just shred it and go.
But wait, if the shredded beech clippings solve the nitrogen and carbon math so effortlessly, I am a bit confused why Kesser and Steen were even looking into adding willow chips to their seaweed compost. Like, why overcomplicate things?
Well, you would think the beach is enough, but remember, they are gardening in really sandy soil. And there is a bigger variable they are worried about here, which is the climate.
Oh, right, because as global temperatures rise, the microbial breakdown in the soil actually speeds up.
It does.
And here's where it gets really interesting. That accelerated breakdown releases carbon that was previously locked in the soil, putting it right back into the atmosphere as CO2.
Exactly. So to counter that, they wanted to use willow chips to pump heavy carbon back into their sandy soil to help build up stable humus.
Okay, pause for a second. Stable humus. We are talking about that dark, spongy, nutrient-rich organic matter that just sticks around in the soil for years, right?
Spot on. Adding that kind of organic matter is incredibly crucial for sandy soils. However, this raises a really important question about balance.
Because willow is, what, almost entirely wood.
Yes, which means its carbon ratio is way over 100-to-1.
Wow, so it blows completely past that 30-to-1 target. Wouldn't that just ruin the compost pile?
It basically solves the whole process. The microorganisms simply will not have enough nitrogen for the energy they need to break down all of that dense wood.
So if you use heavy willow, you have to aggressively balance it out with nitrogen-rich greens like fresh clovergrass clippings or something.
Precisely. So the practical rule of thumb here is to use the chopped beech as your foundation. You would really only supplement with those heavy willow chips if your pile starts getting too wet or too heavy, or maybe smells sour and rotten.
Ah, so the willow acts more like a structural element to add air pockets rather than a main ingredient.
Exactly. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, adding organic matter to a sandy kitchen garden is not just about feeding your vegetables.
It is about the soil itself.
Right. When you look at a cross-section of really healthy soil, the top 25 centimeters become this deep, dark sponge that absorbs carbon and nitrogen. It is all about long-term soil health and improving its ability to hold on to water.
So what does this all actually mean for you? Ultimately, a compost pile is a living, breathing system, not a rigid chemical formula. You do not need a green flask or a calculator.
You really just need a lawnmower and a hedge.
Exactly, just a mower and a hedge to build amazing soil structure and help lock carbon into the ground. It really leaves me wondering, though, if a task as mundane as running a lawnmower over hedge clippings can actively help lock carbon back into the earth, what other everyday yard maintenance habits might secretly be powerful climate action tools in disguise?